Hello guys, today I'm going to show you all of the setup and functions regarding the Z.mote. If there's a specific way of doing things, I'm going to first show it on dual trigger and then I'm going to show it on single trigger. So bear in mind that this video can be long, but I'm going to put the timestamps down below in the description so you can jump into a specific topic if you want to. You may or may not receive the remote with a battery, or you want to change your battery. Let me show you how it's done. So I already undid the bolts. As you can see, we have 5 bolts around the case. To help with the tweezers, I'm just going to twist. It's going to pop out. Then once again from here, twist. And we have the internals. So there's only one thing to be careful here, and it is that we should stay away from the antenna part right here. So whatever we do, we don't want the cable to go over like this, okay? A remote will still work, but it is not a good practice to cover the antenna with basically anything. So you have a couple of ways of doing it. So if you have enough cable length, you can put it like this and then run the cable along the battery and then sort of branch it to the left side, and it can get into the connector right here. Be careful, we have the B plus and B minus markings here. And then what I like to do is just position it like that and then make kind of a U-turn and then plug it in like this. This is the battery 102560 in size. Okay, test fit it. So we gotta make sure that we are not covering the charge LED here, so it can shine through this hole. And then yeah, pretty much stay inside the white box here. So it looks okay. So the next step is I'm gonna peel off the double-sided tape, and now I have to do it in one go, being careful to place it correctly. No, it looks fine. Now we are good to go. So on the single trigger remote, we have 5 bolts again. I already undid them. We can just remove the case. So we are working with a much bigger space inside the single trigger remote, so we can position it pretty much carelessly, so it's all right. I'm probably going to do something like this and then go over like that, and it should be fine. So again, being careful about the polarity, battery minus on the left, battery plus on the right hand side. It's okay, I can plug it in. Now I'm going to peel the tape. Okay, that is fine. So the lanyard goes in from the hole here, goes around the small pillar, and then while holding it like that, you're going to align it, make sure the plate goes through, nothing is sticking out. That's good, it is smooth. Let's do this one as well. So while holding it like that, we have to push a little bit right here and then squeeze And then the same thing here, while squeezing a little bit, push inside from the top, and it should close right up. So after installing the fresh battery, the protection state will immediately trigger and isolate the battery from the rest of the system. So in this case, the only way to revive the remote, because they are basically dead right now, although we have the full battery inside, as you can see, nothing is turning on. All you have to do is just connect it to a charge, and that's it. I'm going to use a USB 2 type of cable with a USB A and C on one end, with a standard charger like this. As soon as I see a charging light coming up here, this means that the protection state is lifted. As you can see, I can even remove it. Now it should turn on. The same goes for this one as well. Okay, charging light came on. I can turn it on and it should work. So now that our batteries are installed and we are not disconnecting them, the same protection state can trigger again. Let me emphasize it because it's kind of important. If the battery drops below the 2.9 voltage, bear that in mind, it is very important. In order to calibrate the triggers or pair a new receiver, we have to get into the menu. Let me show you how it's done. I'm gonna hold down the left button to get into the menu. And while the menu is booting, we have to go through the calibration anyway. So now it's purple. I'm gonna wait till it's blue. It is blue now, I can leave it. Now if I hold down right or left button, it's just gonna get out of the menu to boot into a normal operation. That's it for the dual trigger. The single trigger is a bit different, so you have to hold down the left one to get into the menu. Red, blue, red. Now we are in the menu. But before going through the calibration, let me explain what this LED means. The red means dead man switch is disabled. Since we don't have any dead man switch here, we have to leave it at red while we are exiting the menu. Not right now, it doesn't matter in the menu. But for the sake of the representation, I'm going to leave it at blue, which is enabled, so we can see it better for the calibration. So in order to initiate the calibration, we have to double click the left one. When I click it, it's gonna turn red, which means it is waiting for us to push towards the braking. When we see purple, we're gonna pull towards the acceleration, and when it's blue, means that the calibration is finished. So let me initiate it. So double tap, it goes red. I'm gonna push towards the braking. Wait, purple, okay. Now towards the acceleration. Oh, it's finished. So at this point, it is calibrated. All I have to do is leave it at dead man switch disabled. Just a single click. Cycles between enabled and disabled. Red means disabled. Push and hold to leave the menu. That's it. Okay, let me show you how the pairing works for both of the remotes, but we first need to start with the receiver, because in order to initiate any kind of pairing, we have to have the receiver in the pairing mode. We have two ways to get the receiver into pairing mode. One of them is before booting up the VESC. In this case, I connected it to a 5-volt source. We need to hold down the button and then apply power, which involves turning on the VESC. So I'm holding down the button and giving power now. You're gonna see that it starts flashing fast, which means it is in pairing mode. There's also one more function that you can do while you are in the pairing mode. You can actually switch between the UART and the PPM control methods. If it's flashing fast, it means that it is in PPM mode. If I double click, it's gonna go slower flashing, which means that the control method is UART. And you can see the TX and RX pads right now, which are not connected at the moment. If I want to switch back, I just double tap again and it's going to start flashing fast. This means we are in the PPM mode. So the second method is the timeout method. So let me turn on the receiver normally. As you can see, it just started to work normally. And in this state, if there is no connection for the first 60 seconds, meaning I did not turn on any of the remotes that are binded to this receiver, it will assume that you want to bind another remote to it. So let's just wait it out. Okay, as you can see, after 1 minute, it started to flash fast, which indicates that we are in the binding mode right now. You can't get out of this mode, you have to power cycle it. So bear that in mind. So let me clarify about timeout binding. It is very important. As I said, the first 60 seconds are very important. If I turn on any kind of remote that is binded to this receiver, like this, as you can see, it's gone solid, which means that we have a connection. And if I turn off the remote again, this receiver will never boot into the timeout binding. It's because we gave it a signal in the first 60 seconds. So the only first 60 seconds are important. After that, you can just turn off the remote and it will never get into the binding mode. So in this case, what I should have done, I should have kept this remote off and I could turn on this remote because they have different binding parameters. I can just wait out this one to get into the binding mode. I can get this one into the menu and start binding. Let's do that right now. I'm gonna get into the binding mode on the receiver, hold down the button, turn on the power. Okay. For the remote, we have to get into the menu. Red, blue, red. Purple means push both. Wait till it's blue. It's blue. Okay. Double tap on the right button will initiate the binding sequence. So if I just double tap, what's going to happen is it will try to find any receiver with the binding modes available nearby. It will try to bind to it. If it's successful, it will flash blue. If it's not successful, it will flash red. If it's successful on the receiver side, it will boot into the normal operation, but the remote will stay in the menu. So let's try it out. So just double tap on the right. As you can see, it flashes blue. This one got out of the binding mode and booted into the normal operation, but we are still in the menu here. So what I can do here is just power cycle it or just push one of the buttons to get out of the menu. As you can see, now we have a connection. Turn it off, turn it on. Okay, so that's it for the dual trigger remote. Okay, so let's see how the pairing is done on a single trigger remote. I'm gonna first put the receiver into the binding mode. Okay, we have to boot into the menu, holding down the left button. Red, blue, red. All I have to do is double tap on the right button, just like in the dual trigger, and it should flash blue if the operation was successful. So double tap, it is blue, immediately left the binding mode and booted into the normal operation. We are still in the menu here. Hold down the right one, just leave it, and now we are in the normal operation. So we have the signal, as you can see. Turn it on, it goes solid, all good. So simple as that. So as you know, remotes have two acceleration modes. One is slower, the other one is normal acceleration. And how do we check what acceleration mode we are in? It is very simple. We turn on the remotes, okay? If the color you are seeing, regardless of the status, whether you have a connection or not, if it's blue, it is normal operation mode. As you can see, blue and blue. And how do I change it to slower acceleration? Just hold down the right button. It will flash red and it will continue to show red which means that the slower acceleration. Same here, holding down, we are in red. It doesn't matter if I boot cycle it, we are in slower acceleration. How do I go back to normal acceleration? Just hold the right one. It is blue. Again, it is blue. Simple as that. So the next thing is, how do we check if we have a valid connection or not? So let's just turn on the remote. So as you can see, the LED is blinking with a constant on and off periods. So this means that we don't have any connection. So let's check the receiver as well. Same thing goes on here, constant on and off, which means that we don't have any connection. If I turn on the remote, this is gonna go solid, means that we have a connection, and this will go from a constant on and off to a blip style blinking. So it will come on for half a second and turn off for 3 or 4 seconds. As you can see, this means that we have a connection. So the next common question is, how do we check the battery? It is very easy. I'm going to show you first on the dual trigger. Turn on the remote. Regardless we have a connection or not, it doesn't matter, regardless of the speed status. If we single click the right button right here, it is going to initiate the battery check, sample the battery voltage, and show us the percentage in terms of the LED color. If it is between 100% and 70%, it will light on blue. If it is between 70 and 30%, it will light up purple. If it is between 30 and 10%, it will just light up solid red. And if it is below 10%, it will flash red. I cannot demonstrate all of the colors right now, but we can initiate a single check. So just no matter what we are doing, okay, just single tap and it will go solid for about 3 seconds. So currently it shows blue, means that it is over 70%. So let's show it on the dual trigger as well. Sorry, single. So just again, single tap. After 2 to 3 seconds, it will go back to a connection status. How to operate the RGB lighting? It is again very simple. We have to first turn on the remote, of course. So the left button is completely dedicated to RGB lighting if your remote have it. So double tap, it will turn on the lights. Double tap again, it will turn them off. Easy as that. And while they are on, if I just single tap, it will advance the effect. Okay, let's try it on the single trigger. Okay, double tap, turns on the lighting. Single click, advances the effect. Double tap, turns it off again. Turn on, turn off. Okay, so with the new receiver, we actually have the second channel. If you have any accessory that you want to turn on using a signal wire, it goes through a 1K resistor right here, and we have 2 pads underneath, which is marked with SW, switch plus, and the ground. So I temporarily attached a single and simple LED here to demonstrate how it turns on and off. So it's very important that you do not mix the polarity here. SW means the positive side of the pad, G means it's ground. So we also have the sophisticated light controller here, but that's probably for another video. So let me try to show you how it's done. So first, of course, we have to turn on the receiver. Okay. We turn on the remote. As you can see, it's not lighting on, but if I double tap the right one, which the one that I'm checking the battery, if I double tap it, it turns on, as you can see. If I double tap again, it will turn it off. Double tap again, turn on and off. It's simple as that. So if you have any accessory or like a DC-DC converter with an enable pin, you can easily control it with that, and you won't have to have any kind of inline resistor because we already have it on board here, so you can have a direct connection from the pads. So I guess that is all about it, and I hope I didn't forget anything about the remotes and how they operate. But so yeah, if there's anything else to cover, I'm going to do another video about it.